So I'm in like the wilderness, and I was thinking about what Russ just said about tech-wise. We need to take a step back, and he just started thinking about like this little puppy here. She almost died last week of an infection, Giardia. It's very common in puppies. Um, and you basically eat something that has this bacteria, and it just grows in you and infects you. And then you die, honestly. Lots of puppies die. That's why the litter of puppies is like, it's like 4 to 8, because anything will kill them. But most of my dogs got some death-inducing disease earlier in life, and they're puppies, except Pochi. He didn't, but the other two walking over there, they did. And they don't it's not that different from humans. Babies used to die all the time. The Greeks just wouldn't bother with them. The Greeks were just like, well, if the babies are just gonna die, we might just put the weak ones on a mountain and just let nature take its course, because we're just wasting our resources with them. And that's what happened with the good old-fashioned Oedipus. They did that to him because he was gonna kill his dad and marry his mom, and then he actually survived being put on a mountain, and the rest is history. But taking a step back from tech does not necessarily need to mean that we lose these things. We lose meds, or we lose the research on medicine. We have tons of people that want to make it so that babies don't die and preserve life, and that in itself doesn't need to take a step back from tech. What does is, culturally, we haven't really been able to adjust to how fast technology is advancing socially. It's insane. And I know you talk shit a lot about Jordan Peterson, but one thing he said is that how dangerous it is for a 13-year-old boy to have a phone in his hands. Like, he'll watch all the porno. We all did. We all watched all the porno. It's like, is it available? 2 girls, 1 cup? What is that? Click? Right? So we're all traumatized from the internet, from the early 2000s. And that's really messed up our heads to where it's easy to just see completely deranged shit and not even bat an eye. But so I like Web 1.1, where we had the computer and you typed www dot something, and you would get HTML1 web page with like what's necessary, kind of like Russ's page, her metabolism nowadays, without the colors, just basic stuff. I mean, I'm not saying colors are bad, but just plain text is fine. That's the kind of going back technologically, socially. That's the kind of going back that we need as a society. You can still have Starlink for that. You can still have video calls, all of this, but socially, HTML5, all of these things, they are, and how they you look at these colors and you look at these screens and they're perfect. They're so much more beautiful than real life. And so you just want to stare at the screen all day, every day, because real life, it really has really bad graphics. Real life has bad graphics. It's just not up to par. Reality is not up to par with what we can create. And we had PS1 games. And that's one thing I tell people when I'm on the Uber and chatting with them about their kids or whatever. Like, we used to have a computer, and that computer was on the living room. And if the kids wanted to use that computer, they would have to go online on the living room, and they couldn't go around streaming videos or stuff like that from weird sites or whatever. They if they could see it, everyone else could see it, and so there was this they can't get away with just looking up messed up stuff. But the Amish use technology. I've studied the Amish a lot, and I love them. They're as weird as they are clever. So the Amish have cell phones, and mostly for work, because they sell cabbages and whatever. They have businesses, they make furniture, they need a phone. And one of the things that they do is that they like, if I have a phone, I give it to my wife, and she has my phone, and I get the phone of my wife, right? And I have it locked. She has it locked. But whenever I want to use mine, I ask for I asked her for it. And some Amish guys, some Amish people do that, and that seems to work for them. That seems to work for them. I don't know if you're alone, but old flip phones seem to work as well. I've seen new flip phones these days, but they all have access to WhatsApp and to social media. And these companies are making it so impossible to get away from the shorts or the status updates. They just add it to everything for some reason. Even Signal has them. So what kind of future could we have if we step back on technology? Like, how does that look? How does that look? We can't stop research on medicine. I mean, we can, sure, fuck it, let those babies die. But we can't stop research on the things that matter. Okay, because nobody's gonna go for that. But can we just say, well, screw it, I'm just gonna go and buy a computer that only has access to Web 1.1. And I saw Starlink. It has this standby mode where you only get like DSL speeds. You can barely watch a video at 480p. And many people say, well, that's enough. Why do you need more speed, more stuff? It allows you to watch basic videos at 480p. You don't that thing where you have the little circle going around while it loads. You don't need that. You can stream them well, and you get basic access to websites. Heck, you could even game on a freaking MMO with that. So there's computers from 2005, 2006 that didn't have all this CIA nonsense and backdoors, and can do pretty good at going and seeing the stuff that's necessary. But I have a feeling that the only real thing that needs to be eliminated is social media, especially the news feed. You see, back in my day, the news feed was every person, like you had this website, you go on Facebook, and you added people. You added your mom, your dad, your friends, whatever, and some dude you met at 7-Eleven. And then they would post updates. They would just post about their day, whatever, thinking. And the newsfeed, you will have that chronologically. Bloop, 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 bloop. So you got on Facebook and you saw your dad posting, "Oh man, hard day at work." And then your sister posting, "Oh, I have a new boy band," whatever. And then so forth and whatever. And then it ended. It just ended. You could spend 5 minutes there. From all the people you knew, 5 to 10 minutes, and you saw it, and then it just ended. And you sort of wanted more, but there was no more. So you just, whatever, did something else. And that was the newsfeed. And at some point, that became an infinite scroll of just everything what corporations want you to think. Like, get on X. Elon talks so much shit about this or whatever, that he's pro free speech, whatever. But everything on X right now, he's pushing the narrative against Jews. Let's just blame the Jews for everything. Honestly, I mean, I talk a lot of shit about the Jews, but it's very suspicious when a corporation and someone like Elon Musk wants you to hate them and to just want to kill them. So Facebook does something else, but it's all like stuff to brainwash you. You see, when your parents, when your friends, they just post this stuff on Facebook, they weren't trying to create, like, force you psychologically to commit a coup on your country or something like that, or maybe somewhere, but you could just see it. They would post stuff and they would be like, "Yeah, this is what I think," or whatever. And there was no reporting. Well, yeah, there was reporting, but they just kicked off friends like that. Now there's some type of universal conversation that's happening, and in this universal conversation, all these forces want you to do what they want you to do. And if you read Propaganda by Bernays, one of those things that he said is that in your breakfast is a battlefield. It is a war zone, because the corporation that makes orange juice, they want you to drink orange juice, not milk. And the corporation that makes milk, they want you to drink milk, not orange juice. And the people who make pancakes, they want you to eat that. And the people or waffles, and the people who make the other food, they want you to eat that instead. And it's a complete corporate battlefield. And that's just breakfast. Now you have that for everything on the media. All these forces trying to convince you to think certain things. And who knows, maybe the Orange Juice Corporation saw, hey, the people who hate the Jews and love Hitler, they're more likely to drink milk, right? So like, oh, okay, well then we're gonna push propaganda against milk through this. And that whole thing where white people were all like, oh, drink milk because we're white and we're superior supremacist or whatever because we drink milk. That happened a few years ago. I wouldn't be so crazy to think that was just pushed by the corporations that sell milk. That really was. It didn't have to do with ideology or anything. It's really Metal Gear Solid 4. Exactly what has changed. It has nothing to do with ideology or anything else. It's just basically, do my numbers go up? Oh, 160 little girls died in Iran from a bombing. Oh, okay, my numbers, did they go up? Yes. Okay, numbers going up. That's it. My numbers have to go up. That's what matters. And so that's what modern internet is. So stepping back from the internet, it's like into what? It's that battlefield that we let happen because we saw our feed and it ended and we wanted more of it. So they provided more of it. And then that pretty much destroyed civilization as we know it. The freaking newsfeed. Because without the newsfeed, without the infinite scroll, with being limited to what just your friends and people you know can make, they post or whatever. There's some people who just collect people too. And they just go like that. But even if you just like meet someone at a 7-Eleven and add them and you meet a lot of people, you go to clubs or whatever, and you have this lots of people in your feed or whatever, it's still very limited. But the news feed with the videos coming from strange people, strange pages that you never asked for, that's really what's destroying everything. That's really what's destroying everything. That's what I think. Because without that, you don't really need to go back to Web 1.0. Even though people like me are like, oh, Web 1.0. Dude, I totally look like that dude in the meme that's like, my parents at 20 years old. Oh, let's buy a house. Me at 30 years old. The global cabal with my hair like this, shit, the beard. The global cabal is putting stuff in my brain and they want me to eat cereal. Ah! Yeah. So anyway, these dogs are getting restless. He wants to go home. They're tired. So going. Nigga out.